everybody, what's going on? I'm Chris. It's the Fantasy Football Playoffs. I'm hoping that you're still alive, and if you are, well, Week 15 is coming, and it's the semifinals, and you might be thinking waivers. So, as we do all throughout the season, we're going to talk waivers on Monday. Now, I want your standards for the waiver wire to be pretty high, because I want you to dance with the ones who brung ya. But there are some names we can look at, and some game film that we can look at, both for right now and maybe also for the future. First, let's start out with the shallow league ads. So I want you to stick with the players who got you to your fantasy semifinals. But just in case you're on a magic carpet ride and you're piecing things together, here are some ideas. I list these according to number here, but it kind of depends what you need, right? I mean, if there's no Matt Breida again in Week 15, Jeff Wilson gets another start. I can see my way through to using Doug Martin in an emergency because of the matchup against Cincinnati and because he's okay, he's played okay, scored a touchdown this week. If I needed a receiver, the film darling of this channel, Dante Pettis, probably due for a non-touchdown week, but we who have watched his film understand how he keeps getting open. We'll see if the Ravens go back to Joe Flacco. If they don't, Lamar Jackson, still an option. And I list Justin Jackson here in case Melvin Gordon can't go, but also Austin Eckler, who got hurt on an onside kick late in the Bengals win, the Chargers win over the Bengals, just in case Eckler isn't ready for Thursday night against the Chiefs. Hey, a quick break to say thanks to Scooch for sponsoring us today, the maker of my phone case. Can you see that? That little wing there? It helps the phone stand up. It's amazing. I do video with the phone all the time, and it's a stand. I put it on my night table or on my desk. It stands. It's fantastic. This phone case has changed my life. If you've watched the channel a lot, you've seen the GOAT, right? Scooch, no Scooch. It's really great. And actually, if you love your existing phone case, or maybe Scooch doesn't make a case for the phone that you have, they also have this little number, which is a wingback, which adheres to any phone case. Perfect stocking stuffer. The wingback, same principle. It clicks straight and not. Excellent, excellent idea. Fantastic holiday gift. Click the link below me in the show notes. That'll get you 20% off at scoochcase.com. We really thank them for sponsoring, and I couldn't be more enthusiastic. This phone case has changed my life. Okay, back at it. Here are some deeper league names that you can consider adding. And listen, once again, it's about what you need. I would love not to have to add any of these players, but some might. And the reason I list Ian Thomas number one is because there are a lot of good fantasy teams out there still alive that are still scrambling around for tight end solutions because tight end is horrible. I'll do film on Ian Thomas in a moment. Josh Allen keeps running nearly 3 straight 100-yard days. I think if I'm picking a receiver to add, I think it's Kenny Stills. I'm not super excited about adding more wide receiver 3s at this moment. He's probably just a jumble with somebody else on your roster, but you could add him. I'm putting Damian Williams here as placeholder. We're not sure whether Spencer Ware's shoulder is bad enough to miss the Thursday game against the Chargers I just mentioned, but let Damian Williams stand in for the notion of handcuffing running backs. But honestly, Damian Williams and Rod Smith of the Cowboys, pretty much the only 2 handcuffs left standing at this point. And then Eli McGuire, I'll look at some of his film as well. Okay, let's start with Carolina's rookie tight end, Ian Thomas. This is my favorite play of his from Sunday. And there's no broadcast replay, unfortunately, so you kind of have to squint. We'll show it to you a couple times, but it's a little stop route in the middle of the field, and the ball is thrown behind this kid, and that's, I think, really nice ball awareness and good hands to grab it away from his body and fall forward for a first down. So, okay, Thomas had 11 targets Sunday, really 10. One was thrown away at his feet. And of course, there's no Greg Olsen any longer. Olsen is out for the year, so we're contemplating, could this be a full-time role where we're threatening double-digit targets every week? And this play, he himself, Thomas himself, not doing anything special on this is a shallow cross where they sort of lose him, but the role itself is worth something, and our job is to see if we can determine how much it's worth. This is a 4th down conversion in the second half, Sunday, tie game, and you can see Thomas is fast. He's a nimble athlete, 6'4", 260, Not giant by NFL tight end standards, more of a move tight end, but he's definitely not one of your sluggish athletes. And in fact, to me, looks notably quicker and sprier than late-stage Greg Olsen. Now on this play, he gets an unsportsmanlike conduct because he drops the ball into a defender's face and hands. And listen, he was open on this play, basically uncovered, but the athletic traits seem obvious to me. On this one, well, he's wide open, uncovered against a zone, but watch him beat the Browns defenders to the spot as they converge on him. They rally and try and tackle him, but he's already digging upfield. I don't think you'd say like super quick moves, but explosive acceleration as a runner that seems to surprise the linebackers. This really is more than your Ben Watson, your kind of lumbering guy, right place, right time. And this last target, not even a completion, and we don't have a replay of this one either, but take a look at the body control Thomas has to reach behind himself as he's running. Doesn't haul it in, not trying to make more of this than it is, but flexibility, bendability as an athlete. Maybe not super elite, not a super freak athlete, but raw skills of a good move tight end. Now, the problem with pass catchers in the Panthers offense is that they're sort of interchangeable, and any given week, it can be any of about 4 or 5 different guys. We're fighting this every week with Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore and even Jarius Wright getting involved. Devin Funchess scored a touchdown 2 weeks ago, and Ian Thomas gets added to that mess. And in most circumstances, like 4 wide receivers, I'm not all that interested in trying Curtis Samuel or DJ Moore because I think there are weeks they're going to be on, weeks they're going to be off. They're not a hill I want to die on, as I like to say on the podcast. But a tight end, I can see chasing points a little bit because it's such a mess of a position. Maybe this Olsen-esque use continues. I think I'm going to have Ian Thomas in my top dozen tight ends for week 15. And of course, that doesn't guarantee anything, but I think you can probably add him if you're in need of a tight end. Okay, I also want to take a look at the Jets running back Elijah McGuire, who seems like he may have inherited a starting running back role here in December. Indeed, the only reason we're considering McGuire as a waiver ad in the fantasy playoffs is that Isaiah Crowell re-injured his foot on Sunday, and the top line numbers for McGuire look good against a pretty good Bills defense. 20 touches, 83 yards, 34 of which came on this third quarter run. Now, as you can see, this is sort of the definition of approach the line without that much momentum, find a crease, and then go. McGuire is a sturdy kid. That's a good stiff arm on Micah Hyde at the end of the run. But up until the stiff arm, I'm not sure how much greatness McGuire is displaying here. McGuire's a second-year player out of Louisiana. He can catch it a little bit, but even on this little flare here, you can see a little stiff, right? He sort of reminds me of the Bills running back who took over in this game, Chris Ivory. When I was watching this film, I sort of thought they looked like mirror images of one another. Some sturdiness, there's some power in their legs. Yeah, you probably don't love it when either one of them change direction all that often. In short yardage, this is a 3rd and 1. This is a tough run. Sort of a little mini cut to break away from a tackler and then just leg drive to get the first down. I've actually done a Film Futures, or whatever it's called, review of McGuire as a prospect for the future on the Harris Football Podcast, which I hope you're still listening to because I'm still making it 5 days a week. And I wasn't all that jazzed in my review of McGuire. But really, we're talking about here as a possible 1-week solution as a power back. I get it, not horrible. But let's not turn him into Leonard Fournette. He's sturdy, but he's 5'11" and 215 pounds. Low to the ground, but not a big guy. And on his first crack in this game near the goal line, well, that's a great play by the linebacker, but just be aware that McGuire isn't generating so much power that he can't just be thrown down when he gets met in the hole. And this was his other goal line run. This wins the game, late in the game. I think you can see what this guy's deal is. He pitter-patters his feet. He's trying to keep a stable base at the expense of any kind of explosiveness or elusiveness, and he avoids the middle linebacker, sort of half bounces a little bit to keep his momentum out, right? And then he falls into the end zone, wins the game. You know, the run called for sturdiness. Sturdiness is what Elijah McGuire delivered. Now, I don't really want you to start Elijah McGuire in your fantasy semifinals. It's probably not going to work out great. My guess is that Isaiah Crowell won't play Week 15, a Saturday game against the Texans, a very good run defense. We already didn't want to start Isaiah Crowell, and I think Elijah McGuire is probably Isaiah Crowell with a little less size to him and probably a little less breakaway ability just in case he gets into the clear, which doesn't sound that enticing on a Jets offense that, frankly, isn't all that explosive and doesn't get a lot of touchdowns. But beggars can't be choosers. And I know there are going to be some teams out there who are desperate for a running back who's due for 15 to 20 touches. And right now, without the benefit of knowing what Crowell's status is, my guess is Elijah McGuire's getting 15 to 20 touches, and so that's worth a little something. I think you would have to squint pretty hard to see Elijah McGuire as a future star in fantasy or the NFL, but situations matter, and it does seem like he's gathering into a starting workload for Week 15.
Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.